Okay, roll call. Trustees Mayor.
Present.
Trustee Alton. Here. Trustee Kress.
Present.
Legal counsel Jim Matthews. Here. And Ms. Walter Brian Gillette is here. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Chief Adam, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, before you do it, we got to get things out of the way. You know, I'm very fussy about my pictures. Okay. We can get that garbage.
Are we getting this? This way? Yeah, that's what.
Sure.
It's got it on the table. I'll sit right here.
Yep.
Awesome.
Great, thank you. Are you taking this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay, well, there's a lot of people here. Is there some kind of special event going on this evening or something? Yeah, it was, when I pulled in, I'm like, wow, we're only getting a park this evening. There's a lot of people. This is one of the most, parking is at a premium, so, I feel like I'm at Cedar Point or something. I had to make sure I get the right letter when I returned back to my vehicle. And I understand why there's so many people here, because Officer Joe English has a lot of supporters, be it family, friends, his professional family, his family and extended family, if you will. When they're here to take this moment to recognize Joe for the great moment of going from the silver badge to the gold badge and becoming a sergeant. And Joe, it gives me great pleasure to be able to do this. Joe, can you please come up front? And your wife Maura, your son Padre, and daughter Neve, can you come up as well?
Chief, would you mind going?
Sure, we'll stand over here. Yep. Yeah.
Like the next step.
There we go. Before I do this though, I want to read a little bio for Joe.
Okay.
So everybody understands what a hard worker and a professional that Joe English is. Officer English has been with the department since 2018 when he started part-time before going full-time in 2013. During his tenure, he has been active with the Southwest Enforcement Bureau, which is our local SWAT team, if you will. And he's been doing that from that date, 2016, all the way to the present. With SEB, as we call it, Officer English provides the necessary service of being a crisis negotiator on call-outs when someone is experiencing some of their worst days. In addition, Officer English served as the student resource officer for the Olmsted Falls School District from 2017 through the following week to come. Yes, we're going to let Joe work in the school for another week or two. And that's a closure week, if you will. It's an end of a chapter, and it's going to be starting a new one as the role of sergeant. During his assignment as the SRO, Officer English has worked closely with the schools and has assisted in training staff, organizing events, and has become the go-to officer for anything school related. Officer English is a leader, a trainer, and a mentor, not only to students, but to fellow officers in-house and neighboring communities. Officer English welcomes challenges and hurdles and always successfully bounds over them each and every time with little to no supervision necessary. A new hurdle is going to be placed in his way though, and that's going to be the hurdle of being a sergeant to his fellow officers and to that of the community. I, as well as the command staff that serves for the Olmsted Township Police Department, has full confidence that Officer English will excel in his new position as Sergeant Joe English. Joe, with that being said, I have the oath of office here. If you could please raise your right hand And you don't need cheaters like I do, so you can read this. Please start at the top. Go ahead.
I, Joseph English, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio, and the laws and ordinances of the political subdivision to which I am appointed, and to the best of my ability discharge the duties of the Sergeant of Police.
Very good. It's not official until we pin on the badge. And so I have the badge in my pocket here, Joe. Maura, you can please do the honors. Last time I wore that. Give a big hug. If we can get some pictures, yep, we're gonna take the family first. We'll get you four, and then after that, any other family you'd like to come up, and then of course, we're gonna do so with members of the police department and also with our volunteers and police, because they're also part of our members of our family as well, okay? So go ahead and get you the flags of backdrop.
Great, just perfect, thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, how about the rest of your family, Joe? You got one there.
Yeah, if the English family would like to come up.
This is your day.
Hey, Maura.
We'll get pictures. You're the pictures, we'll get more pictures. Get the office.
He's family now.
Okay, please, family.
Yeah, if we can get, we'll start with the, Olmsted Township Police and also fellow officers from other agencies and our VIPS members. It's gonna be a big one. We'll have to use that panoramic view or something like that. We get one, everyone to come up here. Kim, you're included too. We're gonna go that way. I guess. Yeah. Yeah, you want to get back? Everyone squeeze together.
The camera can't see you. I need shorter guys in front, taller people in the back. I can't.
Which camera?
Stand on that.
I think bad, not cooperating. You know how I feel about like cooperation. I can trust you up, you know. Okay, ready? Yeah. Somebody's moving back there. Moving. I think I got some good stuff.
Now, if I just get one with the Olmsted Township Police Department.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Camera license.
I want
You're in the middle there. Yeah, you got it. All right. Now that looks good. Got some. Okay, thanks, Larry. Thank you.
Yeah. So the first table back, we got one up there.
Okay, and then we have coffee and cookies, so anyone wants to.
Joe, you need to sign your oath of office.
Coffee, cookies are more welcome to it right now.
There you go. Let's sign the paperwork. That's it.
And then-
We're not gonna, one will be for you. You'll keep, okay? You'll get to keep this one. All right. That's yours. And then,
Thanks much.
oh, thank you.
Get yourself going, move it over to the next step.
Sign that one.
Gotta be in.
That'll be your copy.
What do you think like that? Sign two and zero.
Get a picture of them signing. That's awesome, buddy. Okay.
I didn't wear my boots.
Awesome, dude. Very good. Yeah, absolutely. Great. Mark, yes. Take care of you. Oh, thank you. Yes, I know.
We just have the owl. Yeah, it's good.
In there. I mean, it depends on how long the reports are. It's all hard to talk fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Sandwiches in the fridge.
I did eat on the way here, believe it or not. I had leftovers. I just, from lunch.
I'm gonna shop.
I know. I was actually gonna make a joke about it on the phone.
Yes, I didn't expect. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna insist on my own work, but I did talk with, a friend Mike, so he used to do, he's chief staff under the department. He's chief staff. And he's the contract.
Yes.
So. He's gonna talk to Harry late tomorrow. All those days. What's the best way
So I told him, he just went back to the. When I was doing the surgery, so, you know what I mean, so I will.
And then I'm gonna have Harry kind of done it, right? Have him reach out to basically everyone. I think the three people who are like care of their. There may be depending on. We should go. I'm sitting down.
Okay.
So I'm just saying it's. All I'm saying is, my son called me, I want us to support it. That's right.
In the chat.
Okay, back, sorry.
There's the stormwater rules between students in Westfield. Meeting with the county for a few weeks, but it's not. I plan to address the issue.
So we'll get the comments.
Hey. I'm gonna start with, trustee reports. Real quickly, I'm just gonna kind of go down the list here, but, the trustees had a meeting with BBG, which is our health insurance provider, to go over healthcare for, our employees for January. We got the actual numbers back. So we're moving forward with that. The next meeting with all the employees will be tomorrow. We met with the Ohio Turnpike for, I believe it's Lynn Road off of Stearns, about some improvements that they're going to be making there. That's kind of like 25, 26. Attended the finance meeting with Brian. Thank you, Brian, for going over the financials with us for the balance of this year. We had a breakfast with Councilman Mike Gallagher. We attended the Veterans Day ceremony and the chamber event that was their annual meeting. And Guide Studio presented actually on November 7th and November 14th. This is again for the town center, which is the corner of Bagley and Stearns. And it's all about showcasing what can happen and what can be done in that area to make it an actual place. And then I attended the ribbon cutting with our trustee-elect, Tom Cole. I don't know who Tom Cole is, but I attended a ribbon cutting with Beck Boyle. Yeah, exactly. For the Friendship Kitchen Car Wash. So we did that as well. And that concludes my report. Trustee Kress.
Yes, I'd like to talk about a few things. First of all, I'd like to welcome members of Troop 201. They're here to work on their communication badge for Scouts. And it's always nice to have young people here so they can see the process at work. And twice a month we gather so that we can do the business of the township. And it also gives us a chance to hear comments from our from people who live in the community or businesses or people who just want to ask us questions. And we also have a Zoom component. So there are people on Zoom, on the Zoom meeting also. I don't know how many are there. How many are there today, Brian?
Looks like there's 4 participants, 3 and us. So
Okay,
there's a 3.
great. Thank you. So I want to focus on a couple of things. First of all, if you voted, thank you very much. Last Tuesday was election day. And it for Olmsted Township and for Ohio in general, it was a banner year for people coming out to vote. Olmsted Township, I think our rate of 51% of our registered voters came out to vote that day. That is a huge total. Generally speaking, we get somewhere between 38 and 42 or 43%.
Yeah, probably like low 30s tops in an off-year election. I think.
And an off-year election is even lower. And so we're very, very fortunate that people came out and were heard. We want to thank you for your investment in Olmsted Township. Your vote, yes, on our levy will allow us to continue to do the programming that you think is important, roads, sidewalks, infrastructure of all kinds. It helps us to serve you better. And I think if you're driving throughout town, you're going to see that we have some signs up to say thank you for your investment in our community. And then there was also a trustee election. And I have every confidence that Tom Cole will do a very, very good job for you. This board is going to be an outstanding board. And it gives us a chance to know that you're in good hands. And I think that's a very good thing. We had a Veterans Remembrance Ceremony. This, I think, is our fourth one where we honor our veterans who work here, veterans that are employed by us, and then also families, people who are in, like my husband was a veteran and my uncle was a veteran. And so I know Riley had some people, Lisa had her dad, I think it's your dad, wasn't it?
It is, yeah.
And, you know, so everyone, Chief Methvin had several people. Everybody up here had someone, just about someone that in their family who served in the military. It gives us a chance to remember that that without that service, we cannot keep the experiment that is the United States of America going. And so I encourage you, the younger folks, to go to vote as soon as you're able. I have a pretty much unbroken record of voting since 1962. I think I missed one election. And so keep going. That's the only way. It's your voice that does what you want. And then yesterday, I'm going to let Gary cover the meeting, but Gary and I went to the NOPEC meeting. NOPEC is our energy aggregator, and they give back to the community, and they provide lower electric and gas rates than if you weren't in the pool at First Energy or Columbia Gas. So it was a very interesting meeting. And I think Gary can fill you in on that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Chris. Trustee Alden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to echo both of my colleagues, and at the risk of being, too redundant, as I attended many of these events with them, and I'm supportive of all these different items that we're working on. I want to lead with just saying a sincere thank you to those who supported our infrastructure and operating levy. Without those dollars, we would really struggle to provide the level and quality of services that residents come to expect. Many townships aren't even able to pass an outside, operating levy. The fact that our residents are willing to pay an additional 4 mills to take care of our roads, to take care of our green space, to have sidewalks, to have, the appropriate number of service workers really speaks to the care and the quality that folks want from their government here. So I can assure you that we'll ensure that those dollars are put to good use. I think the passage of the levy is very fortuitous as we look forward to other projects, especially having completed many of our road projects. Our road program this year was largely funded with grant dollars that we got from other sources. We were blessed to be able to do over $1 million worth of work in infrastructure improvements, and I think close to 700,000 of that came from the federal government. So as we look ahead to things like the place plan that Guide Studios put together for our town center at Stearns and Bagley, we're looking at investing some of those levy proceeds into things that will really continue to improve the character of the community, continue to give Olmsted Township a sense of place and purpose, place to gather and to recreate, to enjoy with friends and family, so that we can truly be, as we like to say, one of the best places to live in the entire state. So I just wanted to lead with that. And I think the finance meeting was well timed. With bringing, with having a trustee elect, and also with passing this levy in the same, election. I think it was appropriate to have a finance meeting, and I think it's very important. I intend to work with the fiscal officer, my fellow trustees, and the administrator to make sure that we have a long-term capital plan over 3 and 5 years in terms of what's important to keep working on, right? What are the next roads that need to be paved next or what have you. So I would also just add, speaking of the administrator, Gary and I were on a call where we presented two of our grant applications to NOACA. Essentially, NOACA is our regional planning authority. They have what's called the TLCI program. It's Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative is what that stands for. And we have a variety of recommendations from 2014 when we did a planning study that we've still been, picking away at throughout both of my colleagues' terms. And I intend to keep moving forward with that, and with Trustee Cole as well. Let's see. I think Janine touched on Veterans Day at the cemetery. I enjoyed the opportunity to give remarks there and to remember our veterans, not just for our staff at the Old Town Hall, but also at Chestnut Grove Union Cemetery, and had a really nice turnout of folks from both Olmsted Falls and Olmsted Township. And I think they just do a fantastic job every year. And finally, would just like to recognize, and I'm sure we'll have, a proclamation at some point, but recognize Fat Little Buddies for winning Best Wings at Cleveland.com. We're very proud to have such a beloved local establishment right around the corner from here. I can say that more times than I like to admit, I found myself there after a board meeting or on the weekends, and I can attest to that they are the best wings in Cleveland. So we're very happy for Joe O'Malley and especially the staff there that, I've really never seen folks sitting still at that restaurant. I mean, there's always somebody in there and they are always working. And I think it's just due to the sweat equity of a lot of these hardworking folks who live in Olmsted Township and make that, a beloved treasure in the community and an establishment that supports, anytime, police or fire have an event, they're always supportive of the township, and we just appreciate all that they do as a fixture of the community. And hopefully we'll have a resolution or something along those lines to recognize them soon. And I don't want to ramble on about things that we've already discussed, like the Chamber of Commerce meeting or the breakfast with Councilman Gallagher. So I'll just leave the rest to my colleagues, and thank you very much.
Before I forget housekeeping here, I needed to amend the agenda. I should have done that before, but I'm doing it now. I need to amend the agenda to add resolution 134, 2023, which is the MOU with the fire department for the uniform allowance.
Second.
And then I needed to add new business item K, which is the installation of a T at Stearns Road that abuts the soccer field.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. I'm just gonna take both of those.
Great.
And then to approve the amendments, Trustee Bear,
Yes.
Trustee Alton.
Yes.
And Trustee Kress.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll start with the fire department.
Good evening. First off, I'd like to congratulate Sergeant Joe for his promotion. We've worked with Sergeant English for quite some time at the SRO position, interacting with him with the Rescue Task Force as well as regular calls there, and we're very proud of him. Going on with training, more training with the new engine on and with it. We were working with the pumps last week. A little bit of hose deployment, working with a ladder, ground ladders and extrication, kind of getting used to working with a new piece of equipment. We want to be able to make sure that we're fluent with it when we arrive on scene. EMS training this month with Southwest is on pediatric illnesses and using the iGel device. iGel device is a device that we can utilize as an adjunct to be able to breathe for someone when they've stopped breathing. It seals off the esophagus so you don't get anything but air. I won't get any deeper than that since we all just had dinner, right? This quarter, fire rescue training is spinal motion restriction in accidents and whatnot. We would have to keep the spine from moving so that we don't cause further damage. So we work on with that. We also don't want to tie down so much that it makes it painful. Easy work stress management classes have been ongoing. Each class is 4 hours long. We've held 2 last month, 2 this month. The November 3rd, November 10th classes were there. Very well received, lots of turnout for that. We're very happy with that. And then the IAFF resiliency training session is scheduled for November 28th. That's usually after Thanksgiving, I believe. And that'll be at the German Club. We have about 40 people come to that thing. Both of those are part of our grant funding from ARPA. Training is available to all firefighters
community. So it's not just about Olmsted Township, it could be about Olmsted Falls or anybody else that wants to come. With the equipment, the aerial ladder certification is this month. We have to get our aerial ladder certified every year as it is a life-saving piece of equipment. So we want to make sure that it's been tested structurally sound so that we don't have any problems with that. We did the pump test on all 3 of our pumping apparatus end of last month, and they all passed with flying colors. The band in the front of the station this month is our fire prevention month. Children from the ECC and Olmsted Falls Intermediate Schools have completed posters. We've sent the 2 winners, one from each school's finalists, to the state fire marshal to compete on the state level. And I believe they get a scholarship for college if they win that one. But for our local winners, we want to make sure they come away with something. We will be giving each of those winners from each school a ride to school one morning in the new truck. And so we pick them up at their house, take a bunch of pictures, take them to school. Their entire class comes outside because it's freezing because they're troopers. And so this year it'll be in the new truck. So looking forward to that. I think we're going to be doing that the first or second week of December. We're coordinating that to the schools. The grants update, not really a whole lot going on as you'd expect toward the end of the year. We're waiting on the AFG, which is the Assistant to Fire grant. That might open in January, and then other grants as they go on. The ARPA retention grant has been completed, and the funding should be coming in the next month. So in December, we should see that funding arrive. Total incidents, we are still really working hard. We are up over 150 runs from last year at the end of October. In the month of October, we had 207 instances, which is again about 40 higher than it was last year. And in November so far, we've had 60. I believe Monday we ran 17 in one day. So we are really coming. The guys are working hard and very proud of them. And that completes my report. I'm sure if anyone else has any questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, service department. I almost said building department, Eric. I'm gonna throw you off there.
Just an interruption here for a second. For the scouts, Eric, I just want to the scouts, when we are doing this, our people are reporting, our leadership team is reporting to our people, to our community. That's what we're doing here. We're letting them know what's happening in each department. We're telling them what we're doing. We're not reporting to each other here. We're reporting to you, to our residents. So that's what this is. We're talking communication. We're communicating at this meeting to anybody who wants to know. Our minutes will be online so that at the end, once we approve those minutes, which will approve minutes from the prior meeting, those will go online so people will know what we have done. And they'll know if they're online there or here, they know what we're doing. It's a report to the community, not a report to each other. Sorry, Eric.
Oh, you're fine. Good evening, everyone. This is Service Department's report for November 15th. I welcome the scouts. Good to see you guys here. Welcome. Little update. You may know a little project on Stearns Road. Great Lakes is tentatively will be opening the southbound lane with a new pavement. Currently, the southbound only lane is on the northbound side, and it's very rough, as some of you may know. But on the week of December 4th, you will be traveling on the new full depth concrete for the next, unfortunately, year in southbound. But that's good news. Good news for my crew that we can plow and that we're not plowing a dirt road and we'll be plowing a nice smooth concrete road. So I appreciate it. I also attended a coordination meeting with Cuyahoga County Public Works and Olmsted Township yesterday. Biggest topic is on a resolution tonight, and that's the Cuyahoga County Cooperative Agreement for the maintenance of our county roadways and structures. So that's what my department's responsible for. I want to thank the board, Mr. Matthews, for working hard on getting that done. And that allows my team to keep your roadways safe. So I look forward to that passing and moving forward with that relationship. And with that, our force account total for October was $32,956.56. That brings our total for the year to $406,316.43. We're still waiting for our striping invoice for $72,000, so we'll be right on par to spend our $500,000. If you don't know, we are in the process of constructing a nature trail in Bark Park on Shady Road. It's moving along very well. Crossroads has come out last weekend, made some repairs to the path. Standing water issues, those have been done and rectified. I got word that the actual dog fencing should begin in the coming weeks. So we're moving along with that. We also completed the painting of the existing barn and shed there. It looks really good. My guys did a phenomenal job, so that's complete also. Also, county culvert on Eastwood is complete, and we did the final walkthrough for Crestwood, and we were told that Crestwood will be open on the 17th, which is Friday. Our crew has been out doing extensive ditching on Fitch Road. And just a little tidbit of info. We had our first snowfall on November 1st. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get you out of school, but it was enough to wake me up at 2 months. I apologize that I couldn't make it more. Our tree lighting is on the 26th. We invite you all out. It's a great event. And with that, tomorrow, my crew will be picking up 45 Christmas trees from Cordell's tree farm. Mr. Cordell has sold trees for 61 years, and this is the last year. He's an incredible, if you've never met him, incredible guy. So I'm glad we're at least part of his last year, and we'll be picking those trees up tomorrow to start that. That's 45 trees of lighting my guys have to do. They joyously do it, but it's hard work. Thankfully, tomorrow's gonna be 65, and last year I think it was like 20, so something we need to update on our township leaf program. 3Z today completed the first pass, but obviously if you drive around with the amount of leaves on the ground, they will literally be starting their second pass tomorrow. So they will be starting on the east side, primarily the Greenswood subdivision and the Brentwood subdivision. And then they generally will move west. So they're moving along. I also am happy to say, thanks to Lori McLean, that we were awarded a $6,000 community recycling awareness grant. We utilize that money for our 2 events that we can shred it. And also for our magnets that kind of keep you informed of all of our things that we offer. Household habits, way so on. So that's a good thing. Facilities and equipment, the lighting at our new cold storage building has been completed. And also the improvement lighting, all LED lighting at our fire and police department, that's been also completed. Also at the police department, we moved Sergeant Ned Kovic to his new office. He was very happy. And programs, just want to let you know our last branch chip day of the year was on Monday, October 30th. Our next will begin again in April. We had 80 residents participate and collected 52.5 cubic yards of debris. And also our last bulk trash drop off was November 4th. So that again will start again in April. We will be still accepting the first Saturday of every month the typical household hazardous waste. We just won't be accepting bulk trash. Next week we'll be doing our in-house snow and ice training. It's critical, especially when we have quite a few new guys. And this is critical information for them to learn our developments, learn how to follow properly and what our expectations are. And lastly, personnel, we want to welcome our new employee, Malachi Laura. He's starting Monday. And I want to say happy birthday to another employee, Cody Halco, which would be November 26th. With that, Madam Chair, to include the
Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, building department.
Good evening. It's building department, report. All looks well. We're certainly moving forward, being a very nice base right now. That we can actually, work with and roll from. We've got the new computer system. We are now allowing, new cement permits, fence permits, there's a few other, interjecting new permits into the system, and we try them out before letting them go live. And so far, those two have gone through flawlessly, and we're going to be working next week on new homes, and then that should be as for our liveworks, which is going to be great. We're looking forward to having that operating at full capacity. Also for record retention, it's got a real nice part of that makes organization and record keeping very easy. We're very happy with that. I can't say enough about this. It's fun. We're developing a new street opening permit right now. It's something that we're trying to do with a lot of the departments that have to do with zoning, just to make sure that everything is the same and uniform throughout permit to permit. We're kind of discussing over the years, and we're going to correct all that. I just got back from training. It was a code adopting basically the 2024 code for Ohio. The state is finally releasing that on March 1st. So I had a lovely 3-day training and got to sit and listen to gentlemen who are very good at reading that code, and they're very good at keeping people awake during that reading. Because it is very dry. So yeah, I'm very happy with two employees. We're all working hard together and going to depend on each other to really kind of get this straightened out, streamlined, and effective. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer any. Welcome to Boy Scouts. It's a very near and dear place in my heart. My years of scouting, so you guys will take that with you for the rest of your lives. There's always something, almost monthly, I think about my experience with the Scouts, just something from the motto, be prepared, all the way to your merit badges and communication and what you learn. So pay attention. Wake up there, young man. Just wanted to, it's a very good thing. It's nice to see you here, so welcome.
Just one quick question, Tom. And this is more just for the benefit of the public. I think I know the answer to this, but we have, several contracts on the agenda that relate to the building department, specifically, consultants, that have been very helpful in this township, particularly through some difficult times. In terms of the usage of those consultants going forward in your vision for the department, would you consider their usage to be going up, going down, or staying the same?
That's a great question. Great question. I have cut back tremendously on our inspector. That is, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing some of the differences financially on what that is doing to us, because it has to be saving us thousands.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. The consulting, basically for the building department, which is Gary, we dropped him down to 2 days a week now from the original 3. Probably by the first of the year, it'll be a 1 day a week process, and then we'll have to keep them in there just for any type of plan review for any of the commercial plans, which we don't have a lot of. So I do foresee that dwindling down to a point where I think I'd say within a year to 2 years, we'll see a big difference in the building department and what it brings in and how it works. So that's a great question and continue to ask them that.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. And I think I ask it for three reasons. One, because I think the board wants to make sure that you have all the support that you need. Two, I always support, building, as my colleagues have too, and the new administrator and the fiscal officer, continuing to build capacity in-house for the township, in the building department. And three, consultants are always very expensive, no matter what line of work. And so I think that the more that we can build that in-house capacity, not only is it good for us to, strengthen our own staff, but it also is good for, for our expenses. So for the bottom line.
No, and yeah, it's a great question. And part of when I went in there and you guys had to fill me out and see kind of how I do things, but I have a plan. And the plan is working, which is nice. It's happening slow, which it has to happen now. But I think what you said, and I'm going to give it 2 years. That's only because there's a lot that does still have to develop.
Absolutely.
Which we'll talk about in the next meeting.
Well, and I know you have a ton on your plate, and I know I keep harping on this, but my only other request is you continue to build capacity in your department. That you work with Gary in terms of revisiting our rates for residential new builds and new builds in general. I know that's a big project. I know that's not a small thing to take on, but I just keep it in the back of your head because as you're starting to check things off your list, one day when you get there, I'd like you to work with Gary and really try to get those up a little bit. So.
Yeah, I think I just actually did 4 reviews during these last 3 hours in my office with quiet time, which is wonderful. Our house wasn't bad. The part where we did that small things that have been overlooked fences. Sure. So that's another very good point that it is being incorporated into, but it probably won't be 100% right for a year. So it's a great idea.
Absolutely.
Another great question and point to keep in mind.
Thank you for your indulgence, Madam Chair.
Thank you, John. No, we're good. Thank you. Okay, Township Administrator.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Gotta take that, Jenny.
That was a fast recover, wasn't it?
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the residents for supporting the levy. As Trustee Alton mentioned, this is going to afford us the ability to, not only beef our infrastructure, but provide the opportunity for us to secure grant opportunities. So we really want to thank you guys for supporting that levy, and you will see those dollars put to good use. I also want to thank the staff as well as the trustees. This is officially my 3rd and a half, week here. So my first official report. I want to say the support has been very, very good to have. You guys have made the transition to this role very easy. There's a lot going on, but I think I got my feet on the ground, and I'm definitely looking forward to the future. So. Just a couple of things, some of the items the trustees already hit on, so I'll briefly discuss. The big thing is, the discussions about healthcare. We saw about a 40% increase if we continued with our group plan. This obviously would have been a big cost to the township. I want to commend the trustees for putting all the hard work in, and we're looking at switching our plan from a group plan to more of an individual infra plan. So by doing that, that'll save the township almost $300,000, while still providing the same level of coverage for the employees. As Trustee Alton mentioned, we met with NOACA, and he worked very hard on submitting the TLCI applications for both the Olmsted Township Greenway Trail project and the Shady Road sidewalk. We had very positive discussions with NOACA. I think they're in support of both projects. And I think, their whole vision is to provide this, multimodal transportation connectivity between different areas of cities. And that's why we feel very strongly for both of these applications. So I want to thank Trustee Alton for really taking the lead on that. Again, I'll thank you again for putting the hard work in for the CDBG grant, also for the Olmsted Township Greenway Trail project. If you're not familiar, that project will basically connect Stearns and Fitch Road, it'll go to the Cook. We plan on utilizing the first energy right away. So we're all excited about that project. We also met with Guide Studio to discuss the town center plan and the implementation. Again, this is a vision that I think the board had for many years. It was discussed numerous times, but nothing really hit the ground running. And I think this board of trustees has really made it a concerted effort to try and not only get a plan, but see where we go from there, start the implementation. And that's what we're really looking for. So that by the end of November, we have a commitment from Guide Studio to provide us with a list of priorities based on that plan, as well as some costs. And then again, leveraging some of those dollars from the levy to apply for grants. So, the township is solely responsible for as trustee Chris mentioned, we had the opportunity to attend Wolfpack's annual meeting. It was a great meeting. A lot of good people there, good organization. They're a nonprofit entity that really fights for the best rates in Northeast Ohio. Even when they had the issue of last year when the rates jumped up, they made right and transferred everybody over. And so we really felt strongly with their message that they're trying to portray. And the one thing that at least I left with is that there's a lot of opportunities for additional funding through NOPEC that I think we should be taking advantage of and we really need to take advantage of. So this could be anything from, switching lights out in some of our existing buildings to LED, or maybe providing more solar lights throughout the city. So we're really looking at those opportunities and looking forward to applying for some of those. We have been working with Senior Transportation Connection to provide some assistance to seniors that are looking for transportation services within the township. So we're currently negotiating back and forth with them. As Trustee Veer mentioned, we did meet with the Turnpike Online Drive. This is a kind of a unique situation. The township actually has the right of way on Lynn Drive. It's right off the turnpike there. And obviously their concern is they want to get rid of it because they have really no use for it anymore. Unfortunately, the condition of the road isn't great. So when we met, we discussed those concerns that we had before we take ownership of the road. So in 2025, 2026, they are doing replacement sections of the repaving sections of the turnpike. And they're also going to repave one drive before the township does accept it as the township right away. And then just a couple little things. We're finalizing the lot splitting consolidation plat for the dog park and nature trail property. If you haven't been by there, I encourage everybody to at least drive by. It's definitely an exciting project for the township. I think it's going to have a lot of people will interact. Not only the dog park, but the nature trail. It's just a good amenity for us to have. And then, Trustee Kress, unfortunately, her term is up and it's been great working with her, these past couple of weeks. And I know she's been working very hard on the township personnel manual. So I hope we can, look at that in detail and get that maybe on the agenda for next month and get that passed. So. I'm sure that's part of it.
Thank you so much.
I want to say our township administrator is always very considerate. When I tell him I am divesting myself of every piece of paper in my home and I'm putting it on his desk in his office home. So every day I bring a new file folder in and Tracy said to me, don't do that anymore. You're upsetting
The
him.
real estate of my desk has now been all covered. So
His list of projects will be complete in approximately 40 years.
Yeah, and Tom is the other man who is having a hard time. And he never complains, but he's thinking, oh my God, she's got another idea. She's at my door. This is a problem. So
Chris, when I see you, I try and, shut my door.
Yeah. They try, but I'm
No,
persistent.
but all honesty, thank you for everything. You really have more or less held my hand during this and made it very easy to pick up. I mean, you've been here a long time, so that background to get this early on and just to start off has really been beneficial. So thank you.
I want to say this so that it can be said, and hopefully a lot of people are hearing it. We waited a long time to get a township administrator, and we got the right one. So I think sometimes it's very, very challenging when you are, whether you're an employee or an employer, whether you work for somebody or you're the one that hires people, it's very important. It's one of the biggest decisions you make. And so we waited a long time. We interviewed a lot of people. So I, as I have said before, very comfortable with this team. They're a good group of folks all the way around.
Gary, can I ask you 2 softball questions?
Sure.
So I'm just glad, first of all, we haven't run you out of here in 4 weeks, because there's a lot to do. And we didn't want to overwhelm you.
Look, I'd rather be busy than not.
Right.
I'm excited for the future of the township, and I think the board has a great vision. That's one of the reasons, I don't know if I told you guys why I accepted this job, because I felt the passion and felt, I could see what you had a clear vision and the reason why I'm here is to try and help execute that vision. And so that's what really inspired me to take the position.
Well, and so in that vein, and you can answer this question honestly or not. What would you say has been, one of your favorite parts so far over the last 4 weeks? And what would you say has been one of the most challenging parts of the job so far?
The fire chief is over there pointing names, so. Well, I'll kind of answer that with one, I'll answer 2 of those questions with one answer. It's really been the interaction with the board. And so that's what I've valued, but also it's a lot of information that I have to sit down and prioritize where things are at. And I know Trustee Chris on her way out, she has done a lot and is trying to, make sure that the items that she's been working on, there's a follow through with it. So I think it's managing my relationships with all of you and then basically taking that information, because you guys have some great ideas and there's a lot going on. It's making sure we stay on top of those ideas and try and execute them. So I've become, and Trustee Chris, you'll appreciate this. I've now become the master of lists. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
At least you're not wearing them. Some days I put mine on my shirt in my pocket.
And I may get there one day.
Yeah.
I started with the pad of paper and the pen next to my bed at night. So when I wake up in the middle of the night, I write down what I need.
Thank you very much. That's a practical tip. Yeah. When you have a great idea in the middle of the night, you will not remember it in the morning. So have a little piece of paper. It can only be this big even, and a pen, and then you write it down. And then the next morning you say to yourself, I have no idea what this needs, but usually you can summon up something and get it done. Good deal. Thank you, Gary.
Hey, Jim Matthews.
Well, one thing that Gary hopefully won't have to mess with for 10 years is the cooperative agreement with Cuyahoga County. So we do have this on the agenda, as has been mentioned. I have conformed a cover page to the resolution proposed for you tonight, and conformed the signature page as well. So I have 2 copies here. Gary, if you want to pass that down. Sure. So if that is passed tonight, we'll have you execute both of those for me to deliver one of the copies to the county and move that off everybody's plate.
Great. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Jim. He took the lead on this. And if he hadn't been on our team, I'm not sure we would have gotten this done in 2 meetings and 2 months at the most, 1 month, a couple of back and forths. I want to thank Eric Williams for his input, Joe Schaller for his input. It made a lot of difference to getting the agreement executed. Thank you.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah, probably brief because you guys talk too much. So,
I do want to thank everyone.
how you really feel.
Well, I
Yeah,
want to thank everyone. I did win for next 4 years. Thank you for all those who voted for me. It's kind of easy when you don't have an opponent. Anyway, and then I am closing the month of October, so we did talk over as a group what happened for the first 9 months. So I'll close up October here in the next week or so, and then I'll get those financials out to you. And remember, it's budget season, so please meet with Tracy, and then or myself. Any morning that you want to, anytime between 6 and 7, we're here. So we can do that. That'd be great. I did pay the last, I think I might have mentioned this last time. We have one more bond payment or one more year of bond payments. So we paid the last one. So this next year we should be done with all the bond payments that we have. And basically those bond payments were put out there to pay for the fire station, the police station, town hall, and this building. And if you remember, this building sat vacant for about 10 years. So we did finish that up, but we paid cash for that over the last couple of years. So we'll be out of debt per se, next year, which
Yeah.
is what our plan was.
Which is what our plan was all
Yeah,
along,
so
yeah.
that's a good thing. And then just a reminder, agenda items for this meeting need to really be on Friday before. So we keep getting things on Monday, Tuesday, and this morning. So we need to try to do that because it's hard. We had a couple of reports that weren't on there today because we didn't have them. So anyway, let's just try to follow that if we can, because it'll make things run much smoother for the meeting. That's it.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, we have no old business items, new business items, the F&G engineering for 2024. It's the renewal proposal. I'm going to move to approve.
Second,
And to approve the F&B engineering renewal proposal, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alden.
Yes.
Trustee Kress.
yes,
Item B is the Associated Consulting Solutions, the 2024 renewal proposal. I'm going to move to approve.
second,
And to approve the Associated Consulting Solutions renewal proposal, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
yes,
Okay, item C is the additional services, the iWorks Plan Review Management Application and Services. I'm going to move to approve.
second,
Okay, and to approve the additional services with iWorks Q, trustee Zerk,
Yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
yes,
And item D is the Police Department Permanent 12-hour shift. I'm going to move to approve.
Second.
yes. And this just makes permanent the 12-hour shift.
Right.
Okay, and to approve the police department permanent 12-hour shifts, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
Yes,
And if Chief Adam were here, I would ask him to speak to this a little bit, but the 12-hour shifts has been a great quality of life improvement for the department. And I know that the chief is working diligently to make sure that, folks are not, tired on the job and that
Burned
they're
out.
taking care of themselves and not burnt out, not having secondary employment back to back with when they do their 12s. But it basically gives our officers more time with their families, which is a great thing for everybody.
Absolutely. Item E is the quote for master printing for the resource guide. I'm going to move to approve.
and I'll second that. And that is slated to come out sometime the second week in January. That's our projected. So I think everything will have to be to master printing probably in the next, I would say 2-3 weeks. And then they can get that because there's quite a bit involved.
Right.
I think it's a 16-page guide.
Okay, item F is
Wait, we need to vote on that, sorry. And to approve the quote master printing group, trustee Bear,
yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
Yes,
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Item F, I'm glad I thought we took the vote. Item F is the Ohio Township Association Conference, which is February 7th to the 9th. I'm gonna,
FYI, right?
huh?
I think this is just an FYI, right?
No, we're going to open it up to the BZA, the zoning commission and our staff to see who wants to go ahead and attend this event.
Yeah.
Okay. And then item G is the termination of the 2023 employee medical with United Healthcare dated 12/31/2023. I'm going to move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve the termination of medical at 12/31/2023, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
trustee Kress.
yes,
Item H is the 2024 employee health care, which is ICRO, which our township administrator talked about. I'm going to move to approve.
Second,
Okay, and to approve the 2024 employee healthcare, trustee Zare,
Yes.
trustee Holden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
yes,
Item I is the renewal of the Heritage Home Program. We do this, we've been doing this for a number of years. I'm going to move to approve.
Second.
oh, go ahead.
Second.
Riley,
Yeah,
exception.
second, and I would just say that, as we're renewing this, I think it's important that we put something on the township, Facebook page or what have you about the program. If Gary, if you could make a note for that.
Absolutely. Okay, and to approve the renewal Heritage Home Program for $2,500. Trustee Zare,
Yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
Yes,
Okay, item J is the NOACA 2024 meeting schedule. Do you want to talk about this, trustee Crowe?
this is a regional, endeavor that we're involved with, and it's all about infrastructure, transportation, connectivity. They do a lot of things on projecting what happens 25, when these young people are 40 years old, what is our area, our region going to look like? And so it's a lot of think tank people. We serve on that board. And so they put out a new schedule. And I have suggested that our township administrator is the lead on that. And then there'll be a trustee at the second. It's important for us to have a voting. We get to vote on issues on that. So we are actually, it's called a Rural Advisory Commission. We are the only township that functions in Cuyahoga County, and that's why we're on that board. So our input is critical on road issues. That's where we get some of our sidewalk and road money. Yeah.
Thank you, trustee Crowe.
Madam Chair, can I just make one?
Sure.
So for people that don't know, NOACA distributes the federal funds. And so that's why I think it's very important that we maintain a consistent attendance to each of these meetings. So trustee Kress, to your point, I think we need to be in attendance at all of those advisory committee meetings. Thank you.
Okay, item K is the installation of a T at the Stearns Road that abuts the soccer field. We own a parcel on Stearns Road, and there's a T there. And so I believe it's like $1,500 or whatever to go ahead and tee in to drain our property. So I'm going to, unless we're going to open up for discussion, I'm going to move to approve it.
Second.
And this is so we can be good neighbors and we can drain our property and alleviate some of the backyard flooding that takes place in that area generally. So we're doing our share.
Great. And so to approve the installation of the T on the Stearns Road property that we own, trustee Zare,
Yes.
trustee Alden,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
Yes. And I'm going to say it again. Well, I said it last time. We're going through this and we're saying motion, second, yes, yes, yes. We've all talked about this with the township administrator before, with legal counsel, with our fiscal officer. This isn't the first time we saw this stuff, this packet here. We've all seen this before. And we're just saying, we saw it and now we have to approve it.
You don't have to approve it.
No, we
We
don't.
don't have to approve
Yeah.
it. We have to vote on it.
Right? We gotta vote on it.
Right.
Or we cannot do it.
Yes or no, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, Riley, before I jump to the consent agenda items, the CDBG on the report, and Brian brought it up
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
is 150,000, it should say, instead of 10,000.
Yeah. So we had 50. I think he wanted to 150. I think Tracy changed it to 10. So we forgot the 5 in there. So
Yeah.
I won't make that change. We can
No
still
problem.
approve it as it
Yes,
is
that's
with
fine.
that change.
Thank you.
Okay, so consent agenda items are available on request. Meeting minutes, October 25th, 2023, and special meeting minutes, October 27th, 2023, payment of bills and payroll, warrants 44326 and 44439, vouchers 15/20/27, 2023 to 15/31, 2023, and 15/93, 2023 to 15/96, 2023, EOs 15/32, 2023 to 15/92, 2023. I so move.
Second.
Okay, and to approve consent agenda items, both A and B,
And with the minutes of that one little change,
Right, yeah.
trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yeah.
and trustee Cross.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, fire department 2023-04. This is requisitions now to Crown Cleaning Systems in the amount of $3,500. I'm gonna move to approve.
Second.
And to approve the payable to Crown Cleaning Systems of $3,500, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cross.
yes,
This is also the fire department, payable to All American for the amount of $2,500. I'm gonna move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve the fire department payable to All American Fire, trustee Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cross.
yes,
Okay, resolution 124-2023 is the reappropriation budget adjustment. And we're doing a lot of reallocating, which is pretty common this time of year. I'm gonna move to approve.
second,
Okay, and to approve resolution 124-2023, the reappropriation and budget adjustments and transfers, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cross.
yes,
Okay, resolution 125 is the expenditure department purchase orders. I'm gonna move to approve.
second,
Okay, and to approve resolution 125-2023, the expenditure and department purchase orders, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Cross.
yes,
The resolution 126-2023 is the 4 mills safety levy renewal. I'm gonna move to approve.
Second. And I would just say that this renewal will allow us to continue to provide the level of services that folks have come to expect, retain staff that we've hired through grant funding, and continue to meet the needs of a community that is growing with
and
additional
police and fire.
It's for police and
Yeah.
fire,
police and fire.
Please
Yep.
fire only, yeah.
right?
Police and fire only.
And so to approve resolution 126-2023, the 4 mills safety levy renewal, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cross.
Yes,
Resolution 127-2023 is the opt-out healthcare coverage change to the employee personnel manual. I'm gonna move to approve.
second,
And to approve resolution 127-2023, the opt-out healthcare coverage changes, trustee Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
trustee Cross.
yes,
Resolution 128-2023 is the Cuyahoga County Cooperative Agreement for Maintenance of County Roads and Structures. I'm gonna move to approve. Thank you, Jim.
Second, I feel like Jim should be able to motion.
I know, really.
Yeah, what do you say? All right.
Yeah.
All right, so to approve resolution 128-2023, the Cuyahoga County Cooperative Agreement for our county roads, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Cross.
yes,
Okay, resolution 129-2023 is the adoption of the revised roadway excavation and driveway culvert policy. I'm gonna move to approve.
second,
Do I have a second?
Janine, second.
Yes.
Janine did, sorry, didn't hear.
Okay.
So and to approve resolution 129-2023, adopting the revised roadway excavation and driveway culvert policy, trustees Bear,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Cross.
yes,
Resolution 130-2023 is the appointment of Service Department Full-Time Tech Malachi Lara. I'm gonna move to approve.
Second.
And to approve resolution 130-2023, the appointment of service department full-time tech one Malachi Lara, trustee Zver,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Cross.
yes,
Okay, and resolution 131 is the appointment of Officer Joseph English to Sergeant. I'm gonna move to approve.
second, with
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Janine, second. Yeah.
Okay, we had Janine as trustee Cross second that, and to approve resolution 131-2023, the police department approval of patrol officer Joseph English to sergeant, trustee Zver,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Cross.
yes,
Resolution 132-2023 is to amend the vacation time for Fire Chief Methvin. I'm gonna move to approve.
second,
Okay, and to approve resolution 132-2023, the amendment vacation time for Chief Chris Methvin, trustee Zver,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
No.
and trustee Cross.
yes,
Resolution 133-2023 is the ODNR agreement with the Capital Improvement Community Park Recreation Conservation Project pass-through grant. I'm gonna move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve resolution 123-2023, the ODNR agreement, capital improvement for the community park recreation conservation project pass-through grant. Phew, that's
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of words there.
And it's
So-
an extremely long contract.
yeah,
So to approve that, trustee, Zver,
yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
Yes, and I want to thank Riley and also the staff, our support staff.
Yeah.
This is, these
Large.
grants
Yeah.
are just, they just take quite a focus to make sure they're all, every I is dotted and T is crossed, or you're not going to get your money.
Basically, if you take state dollars, the state has to be very thorough in terms of making sure it's spent on an appropriate purpose and for a long-term, purpose. Gary, if we could just make sure that like first thing in the morning that gets sent to Teresa Goodrich, because they have to put this now on a board at the state level for them to approve the contract before the money can actually go out. And as we know, the park is well underway.
This is $300,000.
Yeah.
This is for our nature trail and dog park.
Yeah.
So this is why this money, we had to spend it first,
Yep.
and then we get it back from the state. So now we're just telling them, show me the money.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now.
This is very gratifying because I think my first 2 months on the board, it was one of the first things I worked on with you.
Absolutely. And thank you very much for that collaboration. It's
Yeah.
great.
Resolution 134-2023 is the MOU with the fire department for their uniform allowance. I'm gonna move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve resolution 134-2023, the MOU, fire department building allowance. Trustee Zver,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
and trustee Kress.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe we have one comment not related to the agenda.
Yeah, I'll read it out.
Yeah.
out to you. So on April 12, 2023, during the trustee meetings, I requested writing that you enforce the stormwater rules between Stearns Road houses and the Westfield development. I've been waiting for 7 months for a response from you in writing. The meeting with Tom held a few weeks ago was not a formal response on how you plan to address this issue. So and we can have either Tom or
Jim.
Jim, we can respond to that, and then
That's
what he's
right.
looking for, basically something in writing, so we just need to get something in writing.
Lisa, can you tell me who is this from?
Ray Sapati.
Someone will give you a call back.
He wants something in writing.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we're gonna be okay with giving you something in writing here pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Right?
Any other, we're good?
No,
No one
I
else?
think we're good.
Thank you all for being here.
I'm gonna move to close the meeting at 8:23.
Okay, and to close the meeting 8:23, trustees there,
Yes.
trustee Alton,
Yes.
trustee Cross,
Yes.
you're
Thanks for
free to move
coming.
about the township.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks
There
for
you go.
coming through 201.
Work for you guys.
Yeah.
8:23. Still time to watch the good stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, we're signing off, everyone online, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Jim,